truth is an irony, just like animal farm. Justice mean inequity, so who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence, Islamic leaders silence, kings and queens silence, traditional leaders silence. So who go say the truth? We are the workers of confuse the call. Now by area, why no better? We are the workers of confuse the call. One guy's area, why no better? Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, he need it now, see what I see so. Now your friend on a nine come at them. Only papi obeka na sembia. So I want one over you. Everybody was afraid. And until I learned to my cottage again, once my board dumping one another. But who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien person beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Anya safwe muayini. Aku drop on yina dalima. And who go say the truth? Obiaja konson so to grow your mansa to me be a kakobrafo. Efo anyina ye. Efo when ye. Na so kutrata down na so bi dia back or why no keke. Afene fo be manu mo piafo efo ne cross on my mo. Anya safwe mo ayini. Akuku trofo nyina dalima. And who go say the truth? Abaya di bote chino. Yedi bi bebo nyande bi. Kachisa udi oma upipi numa. Would your mind never shine my preference? But who go tell the truth? TUC, silence. Even journalists, silence. So then who go say the truth? Right is right. Wrong is wrong. No matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption. Someone want to help you. Now the person become your target. Jobless no they mean senseless. Poverty no they mean useless. One day them go resist.
Hello once again and welcome to the edition of MyView show. Today is a very special day to us, and that's as we commemorate the independence of our beloved country, Ghana. Ghana is 66 years old, and it's my pleasure once again to welcome you to this special edition. And wherever you are, it is always a joy to come your way with this show. My name is Jerome Kpan, and coming to you live on today's Ghana News TV. And wherever you are, once again, let me remind you that you can equally follow us live, or we are also live on Switch by satellite, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all on today's Ghana News TV. And wherever you are, you can also follow us on Twitter and TikTok, as well as podcast on Anchor FM. It's always a joy to share our views with you, and every Monday as we begin a working week. And today is another special edition. His Excellency, the former president, has made a pledge that he would cancel or he would scrape the ex gratia that is usually paid to Article 71 and some political appointees at the end of their term of office. Is it a very feasible thing? Has any progress been made? What are your views? Do you think it's possible? Stay tuned when we come back. I would introduce my guest to you this evening's show, and we will take your views as followers via our comment section. And as usual, share the link and let get many more people on board so that together we can share our views and see how best we can help develop Mother Ghana. Once again, you are most welcome to my view show.
Waiting there happy for Africa. Dusty old men holding on to power, leading the people to where the grave. Wicked criminal leaders. See them a come, them coming like an angel. But them a thief, them no say them a thief. Mr. President, you coming like a savior. But you a thief, you know say you a thief. Thief President, why you thieving so? Thief man, why you thief so? The people they must suffer, but you don't care so. Thief man, why you thief so? I see the people crying every day, yo. They want food, them can't find. I see the youth looking for a job, oh, every way, them can't find. Mr. President, him just belly full, oh. Him and the family, they no suffer, oh. Suffer, no poor man they suffer, oh. Suffer, rich man go they suffer. Suffer, no poor man they suffer, oh. Suffer, rich man they suffer. See them a come, them coming like an angel. But them a thief, them no say them a thief. Mr. President, you coming like a savior. Why you a thief? You know say you a thief. Thief President, why you thieving so? Thief man, why you thief so? The people they must suffer, but you don't care so. Thief man, why you thief so? Mr. President, why you dey lie so? Before election, you tell me you be angel. When you sick, you run go a London. When we sick, oh, we die for Kolebo. Mr. President, why you wicked so? Tell me how you dey sleep at night, oh. See them a come, them coming like an angel. But them a thief, them no say them a thief. Mr. President, you coming like a savior. But you a thief, you know say you a thief. Thief President, why you thieving so? Thief man, why you thief so? The people they must suffer, but you don't care so. Thief man, why you thief so? This is Mr. Traitor, Master of Sleeping. This is Mr. Traitor, Master of Sleeping. Yarambarayi Fiafiwo Alakpatowo Nayeruyaya.
Welcome back to our show, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you my guest for this evening. He's no other person but Mr. Emmanuel Ano. Mr. Ano comes from the green city of Freiburg, and we are very privileged to have him this evening to share his opinion on ex gratia and the matters arising. Mr. Ano, you are most welcome to the program.
Thank you, my brother.
Wonderful
Thanks
to
for
have
having me
you.
on your show.
Great. I'm pretty sure a lot of viewers want to know a bit about Mr. Ano so that it will calm down their nerves before we delve into the main issue. So, could you just a bit of introduction? Who is Mr. Ano and where he stands?
Ano is a political activist from Ghana and Brekum Bono region, to be precise. We were into politics in Ghana. We were criticizing government, and later we decided to move our way to Germany to continue our life. And here also in Germany, we are active in all social and migrant activism. So if you ask me, this is what I would say. We are social activists and political activists as well.
Oh, that is good to know. At least people know that you have been criticizing government, as you rightly said. So we would find out because you are an NDC member. We will equally criticize the NDC government and ask you for some positions. But
Yeah,
basically, this evening, we want to look at this issue of ex gratia. Ex gratia has come to stay. It is a very thorny issue among Ghanaians. It
yeah,
has wakened Ghanaians up on their feet.
yeah,
Ex gratia, ex gratia. It's making a lot of people to think otherwise about their personal professions. Because you
yeah.
find out a teacher could teach for more than 25 years of his or her life, goes on retirement, and what he gets cannot even be sufficient to buy a bicycle, cannot be sufficient to take good care of him until the Lord calls him or her. Then you have a political appointee. He goes into office for barely 4 years, minimum or maximum 4 years. He comes out, he's paid ex gratia, which is so huge that one person in his own full lifetime job, what will I say, in employment, will not even accrue that kind of amount. What is all this ex gratia all about? What is it all about?
Okay, my brother, thank you so much for having me on your show. And let me extend a warm greetings to all our NDC executives, the national executives, the new appointees or representatives in the parliament, and also to our general, unbeatable general, Mr. Asirun Ketia, and the general secretary, Fifi Kwete, and also to the leadership of NDC Freiburg, NDC in the diaspora, and NDC in Germany. And also, I want to wish all our parliamentary and presidential candidates all the best, a good of luck. I want to tell them that this is internal race. All the time, there is kind of competition when it comes to position, when there is position, and we should all fight it in peace and with one mind and with unity, so that after, the bigger goal is to save Ghanaians from this reckless government. So, my brother, let me state it emphatically clear that ex gratia doesn't have a definite definition when it comes to our body politics. For example, the Constitution in Article 71 says the president shall appoint a committee, and this committee will determine the amount or the quantum of money they should give to these people as a pension pay. But what bothers me most is I don't see why somebody should serve only 4 years and must have a quantum pension pay for just 4 years, and the person is still serving but still receive a pension pay. But what I know is pension pay are given to people who have served for many years and going and never coming back. So this ex gratia is in one way or the other pushing people more to fight for a political power. So today I'll take my time for us to look at several instances why and where ex gratia is not important, and why I support, and we in the NDC and most Ghanaians, we support the former president 100%, not even 99%. We back him 100% to review the ex gratia so that Ghanaians will get a bit of relief. This is not a time to pay ex gratia. So, my brother, let's look. There's one thing I always say. It is very important to me that I repeat it today, but permit me for my choice of words in this kind of um, uh, example I want to give, or a
Okay.
joke I want to give. You know, there is a saying, knowledge is information, and you can acquire knowledge anywhere, whether in school or anywhere. But wisdom is how you use the knowledge.
Okay.
It doesn't matter the amount or the highest level of education you will have. it doesn't give you wisdom. It will give you the knowledge, but it's up to you to apply wisdom to the knowledge to make it useful to the society. I'm saying this because knowledge is information. What information do our ex-president have? He have heard the grievances, the hardship of Ghanaians. And from his intellectual wisdom, he thinks this ex gratia is one of the problem or one of the things that take a lot of money from the national coffers within 4 years, or after 4 years, it takes a huge quantum of money. Today, we are going to do a lot of mathematics about this ex gratia.
Perfect.
We will look at it holistically and look at the quantum of money we give to people who are entitled to this ex gratia within just 4 years. And the question we ask ourselves is, yes, they have served the country. They have so many privileges. When you read the Article 71, you will see that they have several privileges, that they don't pay so many stuff. So at the end of the day, they also receive a quantum sum of money as a salary every month, sitting allowances and other privileges. So to me, the former president is on point. He is at the heart of Ghanaians. He has touched the heart of Ghanaians. He has come down to the level to be ordinary Ghanaian. This man I have followed for a long time since he came to power. He never posted himself as the president of the country and hold himself or misuse the country's fund, just like some people are doing. People are renting private jets with a huge sum of money. Though this is not our topic, but I want to emphasize on something that I just said, that knowledge is different from wisdom.
Sure.
When you know at this point in time, your people are suffering, they are crying, and this is the time you are renting huge, luxurious private jets and traveling all over the world, and you don't care about anybody. This is why I brought in this topic. But we are going to talk more about the ex gratia, what is entitled in the ex gratia, people who are beneficiary to the ex gratia. They are not just 4 people. There are huge sum of members who benefit from this ex gratia. And they continue to drain the poor Ghanaian to the point of dipping their hand into your pocket. Even a small money your son or your friend will transfer to you that, take it and buy some food for yourself today. And they will tell you e-levy, and they will take that money again from you. The money has not gone into a consumption. It's just something that is transferring to you. Within that short time, they are also dipping into your pocket. A senseless government we are talking about. The government that have or that are claimed to have a knowledge, but doesn't know how to apply wisdom to the knowledge. There are so many things we can prove to this government that they don't have wisdom to apply to the information they have, the information they receive from school and in the society. Because when you are a leader, you don't have to live like a king, where all people are your subjects. People voted for you to come to power. And these people voted for you because they know when you come, you'll be able to touch their needs. And what are their needs? Have you ever thought of their needs? Have you ever considered their needs? This is the point. We are all living in Europe here. We know how governance and democracy is being practiced in Europe here. And the democracy in Ghana is quite totally different. We don't know what type of democracy they learned or they adapted, and where they adapted their type of democracy from. Because we know here how politicians are comporting themselves, how politicians are resigning from power when they know they're not able to deliver. So, my brother, let's come to ex gratia.
Mm-hmm.
We have several mathematics to do about ex gratia, but first of all, let's look at the beneficiary of this pension, 4 years pension. People coming and they go and they are given another note and they receive pension pay and come again and say, though I've received my pension pay, but I'm still working again. It never happened anywhere. If you go for pension, and you receive ex gratia, you must go totally from the system. You don't receive pension pay twice. Imagine you as a teacher or as a doctor, you receive pension pay twice in Ghana. What will the politician do to you? They will tell you you have scammed them and they will put you in prison. But what are we doing to them? This is a total scam. Going first 4 years and going second 4 years. And at the point, both political parties for the past has made several mistakes. So the former president today has realized that this thing has to be scrubbed off, because every day I say to myself that when you were in 5 years, the kind of trousers and shirt you wear, when you are 30 years, you don't wear them again because your size and your brain and your everything has changed. So if today the former president is saying so, it means he knows where we were coming from, when we were coming, and where we have gotten to. Where we have gotten to, we don't deserve this ex gratia anymore, because it's wiping a huge sum of money from our national coffers, which can be used for other developmental projects.
Okay.
So, if you want to
before
interject, but if you want me,
just a
I have
minute.
a lot to say.
Just a minute. Before we head more into who gets into this, we know all Article 71 employees or holders are beneficiaries of the ex gratia. Now, let's look at it. Because if you look at let's take for instance a Supreme Court judge who is an Article 71 holder. He only gets the ex gratia at the end of his service to the state.
Exactly.
Now, somebody also tell you that for the politician, let's take for instance an MP. An MP, you have a fixed term of office, which is 4 years. So after 4 years, you have deemed to have finished your work, and then you are paid your ex gratia.
Yeah.
If you happen to contest again and then you win, it means that you are starting a fresh term. That is what some people say.
Yeah.
Is it logical?
This is exactly the point I was trying to establish here. For example, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu has been in parliament for 28 good years. It means all this, for every 4 years in his 28 years, divide 28 by 4, that means every 4 years he received ex gratia of huge quantum of money. Haruna Idrusu have been in parliament for 24 to 28 years. He also continued to receive this ex gratia for so many years. But today, this is what we are saying. Pension pay are given to people who have served to the latter page and they have finished their tenure of services. They are not seeking for second mandate to come and serve again. They deserve a pension pay, because we, as a workers of the country, a teacher or whoever, when we work for 4 years, when we work for 32 years, 50 years, we get our pension pay. And this is a pension pay. Ex gratia is totally like a pension pay. For example, Kufuor served 8 years. He got first pension pay, which we're supposed to pension him. We didn't pension him. We let him come again. Akufo-Addo has served 2 terms. He's supposed to receive a pension pay for first 4 years. If as soon as he admit to receive pension pay, we should make it clear to him that you are receiving your pension pay to go for pension and never contest again. But if they decide to contest again, then we should review the ex gratia. We should review it in such a way that if you are contesting again, you don't deserve any ex gratia. My brother, let me come to the committee determination of ex gratia. This is very important to me. Every committee, the ex gratia, the quantum of money is not a fixed price. It depends on the committee's recommendation, how much they want to pay to everybody as ex gratia. So when you read Article 71, it states clear that the government should appoint a committee, and this committee have to sit to decide the ex gratia. Why didn't the Constitution put in how much each person should receive when they are going for pension? This is a problem. This is a big problem of the constitution. This is why the former president is calling for the review of the constitution, which they did in 2008 to 2011, and he said he wants to implement these recommendations from the constitution.
Okay, now let's look at it from this angle. One arm of the government is a check on the other.
Yeah.
The presidency takes care of the parliamentary session, and the parliamentary session takes care of the presidency and the judiciary as well. Now, the president has taken a bold step that he's going to scrape off the ex gratia.
Yeah.
People are asking, is it just a political promise or pledge, or is it a reality? Because the process, as you rightly said from the Constitution, if you read Article 71, that a committee has to be set up to look at the emoluments of the Article 71 officers. So the committee comes out with their recommendation. Parliament has to rectify that resolution and then have it implemented. So sometimes you see that we have a parliamentary session that has just started, but by the time their emoluments would have been rectified, they'll be towards the end of their term of office.
Yeah.
And now, the MPs, as we sit here, we're wondering whether they'll be willing to take the decision to scrape off the ex gratia because they are total beneficiaries of it. What do you think?
My brother, I'm making some clear-cut point here. The people of Ghana are against ex gratia. So going into 2024 election, we are going to put our checks, and these are the key questions we are going to ask people who seek mandate from us to become our leaders. That, hey, this huge money you are receiving, what is your take? How do you take if the president decides to scribe it? If you don't comply, we don't have to vote for you. Now, the battle has raised from the top to the down. Now, the grassroots, the people are going to decide the future of these MPs. And in a hope, the former president has done it before. We know when he says something and he's very serious. We know it. Since he has highlighted this, that if he would not do it, he wouldn't say it. And there is no way these MPs are going to stop him. Now, coming into 2024, we know how the system is balancing now. NDC definitely is going to have the majority in parliament, and the president should have power to control all his MPs, to discipline them in such a way that they should give away to such a key and very serious, sensitive point or sensitive promise, which Ghanaians are ready to welcome it. Me, I will tell you, His Excellency the President, John Dramani Mahama, is not just saying it. I know him. When he says something and he mean it, I know he mean it. That is why he's saying it. He always say, if even he will lose, he will say his mind. He will tell you the truth. He will not lie to you, because he knows when he comes and he couldn't deliver the mandate, the people are going to mock at him, just like they are mocking at somebody on the street. Now, you can't see them again. They are hiding their face. They can't go to any occasion because when they go, people are mocking at them. They are throwing dust on them. The president, the former president, has done it before. He has done it before. So when he says it, it's not just a political propaganda. He mean it. He has never done propaganda when he talk about His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. For him, I know him 100%. If not 100, I know him 99.9% that whatever he say he will do it.
I love the reduction in your percentage from 100 to 99 point something. Let me take this video, and from the video we will find out if what you have just said and what the person is saying in the video sort of vindicates the position that you are taking, and many more Ghanaians as well. So, Mr. Producer, let's see what Mr. Bentel says in his video. Ah. Well, I hope my producer is getting it set because there was a statement that he made, and I want us to look at it before we can look at the technicalities. I don't know if you recall, Professor, what's his name, Aziz, in America, took the case
Yeah.
of this ex gratia. When former President Professor Atta Mills was in office, he asked for what would I say, a
The constitutional review,
review, especially with a reference to the ex gratia,
Article 71. Yeah,
Article
I
71
remember.
holders, and how things could be done properly. Unfortunately, last minute, the case had to go to the Supreme Court where they said that it was unconstitutional, and then we were fighting it forth, back and forth until we lost him, and NDC lost the elections as well. Now we're
Exactly.
going back to the same drawing board where the NDC presidential candidate is saying, sorry, a presidential hopeful, because
Yeah,
he's currently going through the primaries to
exactly.
be elected as a flag bearer. Now he says that when he comes to power, come 2025, he's going to scrape it. From where I sit, are you not seeing that our politics is now growing? We are moving from this everyday street promises to promises on policy, which
Yes.
means that if you go into policy, it doesn't really matter whether you are in power or not, but it should be implemented even a different party comes in. Are you
Yes,
seeing that our politics is now growing?
my brother, when you listen to the former president very clearly, he stated at the point where the Supreme Court put injunction on this review committee's work. And he also stated there are some key points they sent to the parliament for approval, which the MPP at that time didn't want to participate in that decision. So he made it clear. This means he was ready to implement whatever recommendation or some of the recommendation in the review in the white paper. So every day I say, when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says something, he mean it. When he cannot do it, he tell you he cannot do it. So he wasn't doing a political propaganda. He's ready to deliver. Our colleague in the MPP can take it however they want it, or our social commentators can take it however they want it. But we in the inner circle, we believe in him. We believe in what he has done for 3 years and 4 months. Now the MPP is comparing their 8 years or 7 years in power to somebody who they took to court to spend 8 months, and he only used 3 months, 3 years, 4 months to do this huge infrastructure and then a huge change in the system. I always say to myself, if we have given this man a mandate for another 4 years, Ghana would have been in another level because he's a visionary man. He understands the vision and the direction he's moving to. It's not like just promising Ghanaians. He's not taking Ghanaians for granted. Ever in his political life, I've never heard him taking Ghanaians for granted. Whatever he says, let's look at the time of Dumso. He was so in such a way that he didn't know what to do, to the point that he was pushing the minister then to resign if he couldn't solve the problem within the month the minister promised. And the minister, I thought, resigned at that time because he is not somebody who tell Ghanaians that tomorrow we are going to see light and tomorrow there was no light. He wasn't taking things lightly. So I believe in him when he say he's going to bring this his appointees on board to scrap this how do you call it, ex gratia away, or this pension 4 years pension pay away. I believe in him. He's not doing a political propaganda. And let's give him the second mandate. People also talk about so many things that is not in line. Whether President Mahama is coming for 4 years or he's coming for 8 years, let's look at what he used 3 years to do and have faith in him that he can use 4 years to do more than that. If not that, people are reversing this country with debt. I'm promising you that this is a man with words which he's ready to deliver. He's not just speaking. He's not just making a political propaganda into the air. He know what he's talking about. He know what he has done before. We know his track record. So, my brother, if you allow me to talk about President Mahama and his promises, he only promised what he can do. I can talk a lot. During the 2020 election, don't forget, he was door to door with the Ghanaians, collecting their ideas. What are the policies you want us to implement? He wasn't sitting in his room, cracking his brain to come and frame something up that we are going to give $1 million to a constituency, and for the 7 years, they have not given a single $1 million. He know that is not doable. When people were talking about we are going to implement free SHS, he told you that come for wisdom, because we have the wisdom and you have the knowledge. I always tell them they have the knowledge, they know, they heard, but they don't know how to implement it. Look at the free SHS now. Whatever he told them, me, if I were the president today, whatever message John Dramani Mahama deliver, I will take the key point in it and I will start implementing them. Because this is a man with vision. He's gifted with vision. Ghanaians are testifying, and they can testify his 3 years. They can compare his 3 years in office to 7 years of this MPP government. Even they can compare his 3 years to 8 years of Kufuor's governance. Me, I can tell you emphatically clear, this is a man, it's a second born of Nkrumah. He came with a vision.
Mr. Ano, let me not break. Let me not take the steam out of your mouth. What I want us to do is, I will get that video, but when we come back, we want to find out how is this ex gratia affecting the economy? How is it being calculated, and what's this impact?
This is what I'm waiting for.
Sure, we'll get to that point, and then we see, because we know that it is only those whose salaries and other things that are charged on the consolidated fund who benefit from this ex gratia. So I think my producer is ready with that video, and then he will play it, and then when we come back, we'll look at it, and then we'll continue from there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Listen, he's a politician. It is very self-serving for him to make these promises. But beyond that, I started by saying these are the most triggering issues today. And so it is proper, if he's a smart politician, to do this. This is equal to free SHS. This is the kind of thing that wins elections. No matter what you think about President Mahama, if indeed you can trust that he will do these things, it will make him attractive to you. And as far as I am concerned, no matter what I think about President Mahama, he's a fine gentleman. He's run this country before. Nothing makes me not believe him. So let me make the statement. I have no doubt that President Mahama can, and I hope he will, do these things that he's promised. If he's a serious politician and he wants to capture, the kind of votes that he wants to capture, he should stick with this.
Okay.
It starts. All these reforms, they start with promises. Free SHS started with promises. There were no plans.
Right.
So I'm saying the other politicians should take a cue from this, and they should all give us better plans than President Mahama has given us.
Wonderful. This is Kofi Bentil, the Vice President of Imani Ghana or Imani Africa, making a definite statement on the promise of ex-President Mahama and flag bearer hopeful of the NDC that this is where we need to go and the implementation has to take place. So he sort of, whatever he says, the statement sort of enjoins what you are also saying with your trust and belief. But we have seen politicians and we have seen promises which have not materialized. So here we are today. I think the good thing about President Mahama's promise is about a policy promise and not the everyday one district, one factory, one constituency, 1 million, one village, one dam. Those are very good promises, but can we implement them? Here we are, there is a concrete statement, and you have also stated it. So that is the position of your party, the NDC, that the ex gratia will be scraped should you come back to power. And I'm pretty sure many more Ghanaians are looking after it because they believe strongly that it will help. It will not bring down all the hardship, but it will help reduce us to probably about the same level where we have a redistribution of income for the welfare of the entire country. So that hasn't been said. Who and who? How is this S gratia calculated? What are the quantums of money involved to the extent that it has become a campaign issue?
My brother, let me talk, or let me say something about Kofi Bento. We know Kofi Bento's position when it comes to politics. He's not an NDC man, so that people credit him that, oh, he belongs to the NDC party. That is why he's throwing his support to President Mahama. But we have seen politicians. Today, if you ask an ordinary Ghanaian, he will tell you the difference between politician and politician. He will tell you people who are having a slogan of promising and always defending also their promise while they have not done. We saw what happened in 2020 election. They were telling us they have a GPS to track their project, but people were going there and there was nothing over there. So we know. And Kofi Bento telling Ghanaians that President Mahama, he believes in him, it gives me hope that Ghanaians are ready to accept President Mahama and welcome him again. Because President Mahama said so many things in his launching of his campaign. But the huge topic we are discussing today was one of it. But my brother, let's quickly rush to see which people are beneficiary to this S gratia. The president, one. The vice president. Then we look at his ministers, his cabinet, the Council of State elders, or elders of Council of State, the Chief Justice. Then he talked about chairman, of which I was also looking at who are these chairmen, like the bosses, Ghana boss chairman, whatever chairman, the key people the president appointed into the
board of state organizations.
State organizations. These are all benefit of S gratia. They all get their monies and other allowances and other privileges from the consolidated fund. So it's not a small number. My brother, let's look at only MPs. Last 4 years, 2020, we heard that these MPs are chasing or they threaten to boycott parliamentary section if their S gratias are not paid. And do you know how much each MP was receiving or they were looking for? 4.5 billion for one person. 4.5 billion old currency for one person, multiplied by 75 MPs. Multiplied by 4.5 billion per person by 75 MPs.
Let me not cut you short. The amount is calculated based on a formula.
Yes.
And that formula has come about because we have it, or it has been provided in the Constitution.
Yes.
The NDC always boasts about the Constitution for the Fourth Republic.
Yes.
Therefore, this blame comes back to your doorstep. Because we don't know the rationale for you including this issue of S gratia in the Constitution. How do we exonerate the NDC from this?
My brother, I told you from the beginning that the S gratia determination is not only it's not a fixed something. It's a committee who have to determine the formula. It's not like okay, let's look at it. Some people think that you should take a 3-month pay of the person and give it to him as his pension pay. But it's not done this way. Go into the books and see how these people are looting our money. They don't go by the calculation, which is 3 months. If every MP is receiving 3 months salary, nobody will be worried about it. Because how much is their monthly salary?
It's not 3 months. It's 2 months of every year times the number of years that you have worked. So if we take only 3 months, then it's not even a big amount, you know. But you take the 2 months in the best salary in the 2 months of 2 months in every year times the number of years that you have worked.
My brother, when you go to Ghana Web website on 5th January 2020,
okay,
he says MPs NDC and MPP MPs chase 452,000 Ghana cedis. How did their calculation arrive in this amount? If not that they are manipulating something, how did, okay, let's calculate that during President Mohammed's time or during NDC's time, let's say every minister or every MP was receiving 20,000 or let's say 15,000, because we know they were receiving something like 10,000 and 12,000 in between. Let's say if they were receiving even 10,000 as salary every month.
Okay.
And then let's take this half of this 10,000, which is 5,000. Multiply 5,000 by 3, you get 15,000. If their calculation is right, because this calculation we are talking about that somebody did this calculation. I've read it. This is the statement of the calculation. He says it here. He says in the term, for instance, for 4 years, if the MP is receiving 15,000 per month, if he's receiving 15,000 per month, and then take the 15,000 times 3, which is 45,000 Ghana cedis. Then if his 45,000. So you multiply 45,000 by 4 years. 45 by 4, you get 180,000, which is 1.8 billion. So let me, for instance, the person is receiving 15,000 and you multiply by 3, you get 45,000. You multiply by 4 years he served, then he get 180 billion old currency. Where about from this 453,000 Ghana cedis? This is what I don't believe.
When you are calculating that, there is a lump sum before this calculation is done, so that figure will still go high. But notwithstanding, let's not argue about their calculations. Their calculation, whatever they want to do, will always go to their benefits. Exactly. When you look at it as a policy direction, it is not only the NDC, it is not only the MPP. When you look at Parliament, the time that you have consensus, it is when something concerning money that goes to all of them, that is on the table. Then you have the two of them, no argument, they go in one direction and they accept it.
My brother, the totality is the promise from the ex-president, the former president, saying he's going to scrap it. Whether you are receiving 50,000, whether you are receiving whatever thousand, he don't care. He said, let's scrap it. And we want all his MPs and his ministers to support that. I've listened to Felix Kwacho Fosu on this matter. He has received, or he is a benefit. It's not only MPPs who are going to benefit from the ex gratia or NDCs who are going to benefit from the ex gratia. The president himself, when you look at it, Akufo-Addo himself benefited 6.5 billion for his ex gratia, and Bawumia benefited 5.49 billion as his ex gratia
for their first term of office.
For their first term of office. That means if John Mahama should come and say, okay, I want to pay my ex gratia, he can determine it, and his committee can determine, let's give him whatever amount he wants. But he says he's not considering how much he will receive as ex gratia. He's not considering how much his loved ones who are in the politics or his ministers he has appointed, how much they are going to receive. He says, let's crab it away. Let's deal with it once and for all, and nobody has to cry for penalty of ex gratia or whatever. For me, I believe it's done to calculate and make Ghanaians more nervous and feel so crazy to threaten people who are receiving these benefits. Because now, when you start calculating it, Ghanaians will get more angry about quantum of money people are taking with them, and at the end of the day, they come to them and give them some little 20 cedis to go and vote for them. and they queue up in the morning to go and spend a huge stress pushing people, pushing here in and out, going early in the morning to join a queue just to vote for somebody. I have a friend who has decided not to vote ever in her life. I've advised her several times to vote. She said no, because whether she vote or she don't vote, nothing will change.
Okay, Mr. Anu, we'll come back. We'll come back to this part. What we want to do is we want to take the comments from our viewers, and
Okay,
sometimes we have questions that come up, and if the questions come up when we return, then you have the opportunity to respond to them.
okay, thank
Okay,
you.
so you are watching live MyView show on today's Ghana News TV, and gratefully we want to take the comments from our viewers. We are very privileged that you are part and parcel of the show this evening. So starting with Almighty Mavis. Mavis Martin says, good evening. I'm glued to my set from Portugal. I'm looking forward for a great show. Your guest will do well. Kudos. Mavis, we are grateful, and he's indeed doing it. All the way from Sakina Information Center, Nana Tafremu, grateful once again. Happy Independence Day, Dr. Jerome, and your guest, watching you live from Tatali Northern Region. And I'm very sure, Nana, you are the owner of the Sakina Information Center. Our shout outs to all the people inside Tatali, that we are grateful that they are part and parcel of this show, and then we are going to have them many more times. Brimpong, as usual. Ghana is 66 years with nothing to show. What a pity. Ghana is in a retrogressive mood under the leadership of Akufo-Addo. Indeed, that is why everybody is praying, like my good friend is saying, NDC is coming back to show the difference. Ni Otu Ankra, we're very grateful that you are part of the show. It says, GS, I am now here to watch you. We are grateful that you are part of it. Maxwell Nati, Comrade Animal Fire, kudos to you and Comrade Kpan. We are loving the show. Maxwell, we are grateful that you are part of the show every day and every week. Robert, today you are there. More fire, Ms. Anu. I love your boldness and courage. Watching from St. Petersburg, Russia. Bob, we are grateful that you are part of the show today. Be part and parcel of us all the time. Mr. Ankra is back. How are you doing? Okay, I'm very grateful. I'm doing well today, and I just joined the show. Ghanaian pensioners' money are in jeopardy, yet they are celebrating Independence Day. What kind of independence? I think what was celebrated today, okay, there is disjointed. I'm sure the other part will follow up. I mean, I will complete it when it comes. I'll say kudos. I can see this guy is on fire. He's seriously on fire. He's doing justice to a topic, watching from Barcelona, Spain. I'll say we are grateful that you're part of the show. Ahunfe Patricia. Greetings, comrades. Very interesting topic. I like your enthusiasm, comrade. I know. But we are very grateful you're part of the show this evening. Oh, Dr. Charles Luanga Bayil. Great blowing of fire by the guest. Kudos to you, Dr. Jerome, for bringing us the best of content. Greetings. Dr. Charles happens to be the vice chairman of a Young Professionals Forum for Ghana. We are grateful that you are part of the show this evening. And once again, join us next week. Kuntinana says, watching from Warsaw, Poland. The guest is very good and on point. We are grateful, Nana, that you are part of the show. So, award-winning Patience Daku, good evening, watching from Hamburg, Germany. Please, can you educate your viewers? What is the spirit and motivation behind the ex gratia? Okay, when he comes back, we'll ask him and then see what he tells us. Comrade David is back, David Ankra. NDC is really moving on policy. Listening to JM on the ex gratia issue, I know he will do it easily. Our communicators must drum this home. JM all the way. We are also grateful that the NDC is moving to policy debate come 2024, or even this is just an internal election. So we'll see how it goes. David, once again, not only the ex gratia, he must include scraping cars given to ministers. Well, the ministers are always given the first choice to get their cars, so it's a good thing that Uncle David is bringing up. Housing loans must be scraped. Free fuel must be scraped. Okay, that is powerful. Let's see how it goes. Ima David says, good evening, Dr. Kpan, and good evening to your guest. What is your take on demands on Mr. Mahama to refund what he benefited? Why did he not implement this policy during his tenure? Okay. I'm sure Mr. Anu will be able to help us understand this. It has come time and time again. This is Ima Davis again. Is Mahama's shoe in Mahama's shoes? What would be your answer if asked if you were not promising scraping ex gratia because you politicians have exhausted campaign promises? Because the probability of this is high considering the fact that campaign promises is really exhausted. Mr. Anu, a wonderful question for you. Hey, Auntie Becky Stone, grateful that you're part of the show. Good evening, Dr. Jerome. Keep up with a fantastic job. Happy Independence Anniversary. Very good evening to you, Auntie Becky, and we are grateful that you're part of the show this evening. Emma is back again. She says, NDC has been the longest ruling party. It seems kind of unfair to Ghanaians. What word do you have for Ghanaians to appease them, considering the fact that even the NDC has been the longest beneficiary? Okay. I hope Anu will be in position to tell us a bit from this angle. I think so far, so good. These are the few comments that we have received from our followers. And I'll bring back my guests this evening, and we will start with a few of the comments that just came up. Mr. Anu, you're most welcome back.
Yo, thank you, my brother.
Emma Davis is on your feet this evening. She has about 3 different set of questions, but then let's just take the first set. She says, "What is your take on demands on Mr. Mahama to refund what he benefited? Why did he not implement this policy during his tenure?"
My brother, let my sister Emma understand one thing. I always say, when she was 5 years, the kind of dressing she was wearing, she can't wear them today. At the time we set up the constitution, we were a young country growing up. So we thought of benefit for our president. We even, when you check, during the President John Evans Atamil's tenure, he was looking at benefit for football players, because we knew when they are out of office after their services, they have nothing to touch. I listened to President Jerry John Rawlings in his interview, and I read a bit about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Can you tell me what house did we build for Kwame Nkrumah after serving and getting us independent, which we celebrate every day? Kwame Nkrumah never benefited anything from Ghana. He has a family. They never benefited anything. So we coming into the democratic regime, we thought of, if our leaders are leaving, there should be a benefit for them to depend on, because we know they have served, just like a teacher who has served, just like a doctor who has served. But now we are looking at the critical conditions we are in, and he was saying something like, when did President Mahama implement it? When he was in office. Don't forget, President Mahama stated clearly that there were a constitutional review committee, which also the ex gratia was part of the concept they reviewed, and he was waiting for implementation. He did all he could, but just he couldn't fulfill before before the MPP lied their way to come into power. So he stated clear that he thought Akufo-Addo would continue with the constitutional review committee's recommendations, and also to tell him to benefit to bring back his benefits. This I don't understand. This was the program of the day. For example, today you go to party, they give you cake. That means if the cake is finished and another visitor come and there is no cake, they give him banana. You tell him that because you have eaten banana, there is no need for you to bring, or you have to bring your cake because now they are serving banana. This is the time that President Mahama says all of us has benefited. Now it's time we have to cease taking it any longer, because it's draining the country. He's thinking about the country. He's thinking how he can use this money for other purposes. So let's think positive as Ghanaians. and stop always recurring back of what has happened and why and why and why. We need to move forward as a country. We need to stay focused and move
No,
forward.
but Sano, if you look at Ima Davin's question, where she's asking for the refund that what President Mahama benefited, could it not be that laws are not retrospective in effect? So it was a law that made him to benefit that, and
Exactly.
now he wants that law to be reviewed. And
Exactly.
obviously, once you review it, it can take retrospective effect, and all the presidents who has benefited has to bring it back.
Then
Wouldn't
Kufuor
that
will
be
also
the
refund his benefit, and Akufo-Addo will refund his benefit. Don't forget, Akufo-Addo wanted to push his wife to be a beneficiary of Article 71, which
No,
we
we'll
resisted.
come to that issue. We'll come to that issue because the issue went to court and went to parliament and the rest. As we speak now, we don't know the determination. We are not even sure if they are being paid or they are not being paid. So we'll leave that one aside and then we'll finish at
President wives from years are not paid. They benefit from allowances. This is what they did to Nana Konadu after we implement these constitutional rules and come into democracy. This is how we have been going. President wives are not paid. They only get the
okay.
allowances.
The second part of her question
So
is
they are
that
not Article 71 beneficiaries.
yeah, but the second part of Emma's concern
Okay.
is that you, the politicians, you have exhausted your promises. There are no promises again that any politician can come and make. We Ghanaians have not heard over and over again. That is why you are now moving to look at policy directions. Now you want to scrape off S. Gracia. Is that the case?
Let me tell my sister Emma, then there shouldn't be a campaign message in America because they have already developed. So they don't need a campaign message of building roads or building anything. We are talking Ghana, we are not developed. The president, the former president looking at situation now, he realized that these are quantum of money we spend every 4 years and he want to stop it so that we keep this money in the national coffers for development. This is a man who created several consolidated funds for even future generations. And this government has come and
Oh la la. I hope my producer will check this now. It's like we have a technical hitch.
tell my
Okay.
sister Emma, that I love her so much. She should come as a Ghanaian for us to move Ghana forward and stop always accusing people of their past and whatever has happened. If somebody was a thief before and now he's a pastor, you don't continue to tag him with his thief nature. You recognize him as a pastor now. The president and the former president who is coming again is saying, these are my key determination points. I want to scrap it. Let's save money. Let's keep the money we give to them to waste. He is part of the waste of this money. He said, I don't want it anymore. Don't forget, Togo Afede was given this S. Gracia. He was entitled to go and enjoy it. But it's his personal decision to refund it. He sent it back to Akufo-Addo and it became a news in Ghana. This is what Domama is saying now. He says, I am a solely beneficiary to S. Gracia, but me and my appointees and everybody, we don't want it and we want to come together to scrap it away. Let's move forward and have a constitution. Let's review our constitution. Let's have a law to take away this thing so that no government will come and bring it back again. So now, let's all as a Ghanaian throw our support to President Mahama and give him the benefit of the doubt, whether he was serious or he is serious.
Mr. Ano, I heard you say, "Oh, I should tell my sister Ima that you laugh." Yeah, she loves you so much. So she has two extra questions for you this evening. I think you've got to battle it out with her. Just like I rightly asked you the question, the NDC priced itself by the 1992 Constitution for the Fourth Republic, that we gave birth to the Fourth Republic, ABCD. So we drafted the Constitution, and knowingly within us, we put in those articles because we know that we're going to benefit more. So Ima still comes back here to tell us that NDC has been the longest ruling party.
No.
Yeah, well, it is only I understand where she's coming from, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah.
NDC has been the longest ruling party. It seems kind of unfair to Ghanaians that NDC should be making this promise now when the hardship is strangling them. What word do you have for Ghanaians to appease them? Because, in my opinion, before we make such policies, we must apologize and show remorse for not having the vision of sharing even beforehand. This is Emma's concern.
Let
What
me
do you have?
let me correct my sister Emma again. The NDC, we gave birth to NDC in 1992. NDC was born in 1992, not before 1992. It was PNDC then. So the NDC as a party was born in 1992 after we accepted to allow multi-partisan politics, then we formed NDC. So Jerry John Rawlings spent 8 years, he left. Kufuor came, he spent 8 years, he also left. Atamo spent 4 years, and John Mahama spent 4 years, making 8. Akufo-Addo has spent 7 years, going to 8. So it's balanced. After our constitutional regime, it's balanced. Nobody is against anybody. At the time of Rawlings, it's a military regime. When it was PNDC, there was no laws, there was no constitution. So there were no kind of this ex gratia at that time. So she shouldn't forget the constitution was drafted in 1992, not before 1992. So Rawlings, in his first tenure as PNDC and military takeover, he never benefited anything from ex gratia. So let my sister understand that the ex gratia, we drafted it into the constitution in 1992. That is when we had a democratic regime, and we decided to operate as a democracy, democratic country.
Sorry. Oh my goodness. Now the conversation is getting more interesting and our time is far running out. I'm sure we'll need another opportunity to have a discussion on this issue or other issues as well.
Yeah.
But from before I let you go, I want you to just take a clue from what Emma says that NDC needs to appease Ghanaians. NDC needs to apologize to Ghanaians for what we ought to have done and we didn't do. And now we are coming back. NDC is coming back to come and ask for votes for Ghanaians. Put yourself in that shoe. You are an NDC member. What message will you tell Ghanaians as we speak now?
Ghanaians will bear witness with us that NDC, we always show remorse and we are on the side of ordinary Ghanaians. We never treated ourselves as kings. We never rented private jet and talked trash to Ghanaians. When you look at the posture of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, when you look at the posture of Jerry John Rawlings, His Excellency, the former president, may his soul rest in peace. When you look at the posture of John Evans Atamos, may his soul rest in peace. They are people, naturally, they are humble people. Rawlings is somebody up to date. People love him. People love Jerry John Rawlings if he should contest as a president of Ghana again. People love John Evans Atamos if he should come back to contest again. Because NDC have always people with God-fearing and humble nature. President Mahama says, when you listen to his speech and all other speech he gives, he always put himself as part of the Ghanaians, the crowd. And he's not exempting himself as the president and tell people that if you not vote for me and you want to vote for the MDC, it's your business. You understand? NDC has never brought up a leader who is rude and arrogant. So my sister, know the leaders that has led your country. I mean our country. NDC side, we are the humblest people. We accommodate everybody. We welcome everybody. We are not like people who says we are drafting constitution and we have called the farmers to ask their opinion. So we are not coming because we are the lawyers and we should write the constitution. So if there has been an error in the constitution of the ex gratia of the Article 91, these people are the main problem, because if they were there, maybe they would have given their kindest opinion, but they boycott it. And we all have ourselves to blame and look at the way forward. But NDC, we always show remorse to Ghanaians. We are in the side of Ghanaians. We are not boasting ourselves. But let me clear one thing before I go. People should be grateful to His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings because he gave birth to the democracy we are enjoying today. If he has not given chance for us to draft the constitution, Akufo-Addo will never be a president to treat Ghanaians like this.
Wonderful. So you take credit from what His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings did for Ghana, but you do not want to take the bashing for what took place under the reign of His Excellency. But all the same, it's been a wonderful discussion with you, Mr. Ano, this evening, and we are praying that we will find another time so that we can have more discussions where you will tell us what the NDC has under their sleeves come for the elections in 2024. We see that
welcome, my brother.
You are out for the rescue nation. Sure.
Call me again for us to share. This is an educative platform. All of us are learning. So whoever posts something, I also take a clue from whatever they say.
Okay. I think I will end my show with the comments from Emma Davis. I think Emma is our star for the evening. She says, Mr. Ano, I love your passion and enthusiasm. Thank you for your answers. Your explanations are appreciated. I am a member of NDC. Oh, okay. So you are just doing a collaboration to project your party. Now I understand.
I never met you. I don't know that.
So don't worry. But the fact that we are of a particular party doesn't mean we should follow our party blindly.
Exactly.
And that is a good cause, you know. It doesn't matter. Once you are a member of a political party, you are out there for your own country. You have to push policies that will bring the benefit to the entire country. So once again, Mr. Ano, we are very grateful that you have joined us. And to all our viewers up there, it's been great coming your way on MyView show on today's Ghana News TV. Until we come your way next week, have a blessed evening and good night to you all.
Mampam also untie so dogo binwa bem mampam also untie nani amuka nyina guna swati move swara mampam also untie move swara mampam also untie. Once upon a time, animal called Mampam. Any king where them go bring.